So once again, there he is right there. There's a little ear. So the other day I went to the store. I was grocery shopping, and I was at Fry's. I went down one of the aisles, the Christmas aisle, and I said, oh, wow, they have more stuff here, right? They have all the Christmas stuff. They barely had anything for Thanksgiving. So I saw something. I said, oh, my gosh, I got to get this, right? Isn't that the same pup that's in the air? Isn't that the same pup that's in the sky right there? Huh? Right there. Huh? Isn't that the same pup? Right there. Right there. Only God could do such a thing. But they say I'm not God. And he has dog slippers. Hello, Princess Bubblegum. Aw, you think that's all? Come on. She's carrying the J. There's the mother, the father. Yes, I act the fool. Hey, I love my wife. Hey, look, if you're a guy, you got a beautiful wife. Come on. Hey, these are the things that people get to miss out on, right? People miss out on how the Father lives, how I am. I like to have fun. I like to broadcast how much I love my wife. Every day, we look at each other. She says, I'll be in the kitchen washing dishes or cooking. She'll say, that's my man right there. That's my husband right there. That's my God right there. And I'll look at her and say the same thing. Not man, but of course, that's my woman right there. That's my wife right there. Thank you, Marianne. So it was beautiful to go to Fry's, the grocery store, and to, find the Mrs. Claus and Santa. They had different versions. That was the only one that they had with the dog, right? They had the white Santa and Mrs. Claus. They had the black Santa and then Mrs. Claus. And then he had the brown skin Santa and Mrs. Claus. I said, that's the one that fits me. And this is the only one that's carrying the dog, which they're letting you know in all of these stores. God. God is Santa. Just checking his list, checking it twice. Gonna find out who's naughty or nice. Santa Claus is coming to town. He knows when you are sleeping. 8 billion Christians. That's pretty much the world. He knows when you are awake. My House of Crystal trustees and all of the men and women around the world who are working on this mission. Oh my gosh, Marianne, you're hilarious. thought about someone the other day. I never shouted him out. And I do want to shout him out because he's one of my favorite actors. He's in my top list. I've always loved this guy. I love his acting skills. I like him as a man. I like him as a father, as a husband. I love his intellect. I love his viewpoints, how he sees the world, and many other things. That person is my good old buddy, Matthew McConaughey. Good old Texan boy. Them Texas Aggies. So shout out to Matthew McConaughey. That's my guy right there. Shout out to him. You know, he's put out so many great speeches that I just love. When he gives a speech, it's one of those speeches you need to sit back and you need to listen to. So, shout out to Matthew McConaughey. Just want him to hear that directly from the Father. I used to have a problem with the Aggies. I did. Not the Aggies, the Longhorns. The school I went to in Dallas, man, it was a big, oh my gosh, we had a big rivalry. My coach, our football coach, yeah, he was an Aggie. He was an Aggie. And then our rivalry team that we had to play against, their coach was a Longhorn. These are guys that used to play ball for them, or they were assistant coaches over there at both colleges. And my coach, he was actually one of the assistant coaches for the Dallas Cowboys. So we had like a real football coach. So yeah, that was a big thing living in Dallas, man. Longhorns and those Aggies. And I actually love both schools. I actually love both schools because I don't really watch sports anymore, but they really those kids give a great game. They played their hearts out. It doesn't matter what new bunch of kids come in and play. They all play their hearts out. They're all excited to be on that field playing for each school. And when I get a chance to watch those games, it's a beautiful thing to see, you know. So shout out to those schools, definitely. But if I have to choose one between the Aggies and the Longhorns, I got to go with the Longhorns. Come on, baby. Longhorns represent for the Father. And shout out to the Longhorns for representing the Father. They've done a lot of posts on me. So shout out to you. I see you. You already know that. I've already commented on your post on X. So shout out to the Longhorns, to the whole entire school, the whole administration over there, the athletics club over there, the coach, the players, the dean, everyone, all the professors, all the kids. Shout out to all of you. Shout out to Prime, Deion Sanders, Prime Time. I see you, man. I see you. Shador, I see you. I see you, kiddo. Right? I see you. Look, you're going to have your ups and downs. Why do you have your ups and downs? Why do you have as many ups and downs? You cannot become an icon. You cannot become a legend if you don't have ups and downs. Your dad had ups and downs. Your dad still has ups and downs. And look at him. He's still a legend. He's still prime time. No matter what he goes through, he's still prime time. He's still on top. So if Pop's got to go through that, and he's had to go through that, right? He's had the challenges and he's had his challenges, right? They didn't like his attitude. They didn't like his mindset. but they couldn't prove him wrong. There would be no one in history, ever in history, to play like Prime. And that comes with a lot. When I say a lot, that means you have to factor in a lot of things. There's a lot of great wide receivers. There's a lot of great players. But there are just some players that you can't replace them. There's no one who can do it better the way they did it. They're the originators, right? They're the originators. So shout out to Prime. Shout out to the whole Sanders family also. You know, from time to time, I just think about people that I always see making noise for me, putting it out there. Shador has been wearing the shirts and stuff, so the whole family's been wearing the shirts. And there's a lot of people out there that represent me, and I know I don't spend time actually saying every person out there that's doing that, but I always know I'm watching. I'm always on social media watching everything. You know, I may not like, I may not respond, but I'm watching. Always perfect timing with that. But, oh, here's another thing. So, Malinani, if you go back to the chapter 2 video, and you see Malinani wearing the pearls, right? They got her wearing pearls. Look at that. 3 stars, 3 stars. 33. Go punch that into Gematria. 332. Right? Look at that. They just so happen to put a candy cane. But let me show you how they did this. Right? So look how it's on there, and all of them are like this. See, you got to turn it around, and it's hard to turn around because it'll flip right back, right? So most of them are like this when you're buying it, and then this is a candy cane. I'm sorry, this is a candy cane, right? You see this? And then the gingerbread, right? Hidden in plain sight. You see how they did that? Hidden in plain sight. Jules, the father, hidden in plain sight. And then they come back holding the dog, God. He's walking the earth. God is walking the earth. The two gods are walking the earth. Come on, man. Why is he wearing pajamas? Right? Like a thief in the night. I'll see what they have again today. I have to go back to the store today. Like I said, I feel like I'm that 80-year-old guy that stays in the grocery store. Gotta go get Miss Sophia her diapers. Miss Thang likes to take off her diapers, right? So I have to buy those pull-ups. She likes to run free, and I don't know how she takes it off. I don't know how she does it. This girl can have on all of her clothes, and then I'll go in the room, and she's in her crib, and then the diaper is on the floor. Like, how did you manage to take that freaking diaper off and throw it on the floor and you're fully clothed? Yeah, so the pull-ups, nah, she can't do that. Yeah, kids are very amazing when they put their minds to something to problem solve in order to make themselves feel good. Yeah, I think I did that as a kid too. What's sad is the only pictures, I don't have any pictures of me as a kid, as a baby. I just remember seeing them. The only pictures I remember seeing of me as a baby is I'm holding my bottle. I'm at a picnic. I don't know why my mother did this to me, but I'm at a picnic and, the cloth is on the floor, on the ground, and I have on my little church socks. I think I'm like probably not even one yet. And I'm walking, I'm standing, and I'm completely naked out in public, holding my bottle, smiling. And I have 3 pictures I've seen of that. Every time it was different places. It's like, why am I naked? Just holding a bottle. Everyone can see my wee wee. They can see my butt. Mother, why do you have me being exposed? You know. So yeah, she told me, she was like, I hated diapers. She's like, you hate diapers. Same thing with baby food. Sophia doesn't eat baby food. She will throw it. She wants real food. So I'm cooking a 4th plate for her. So, cooking a 4th plate. But as a baby, they say the only thing I would eat would be beans, like red beans and rice, of course, New Orleans, and peanut butter and jelly, no bread. Peanut butter and jelly, they would just put it in a bowl. Peanut butter and jelly. And then they would call me Mr. Jules because they said I stuck my chest out when I was a baby, and my mannerisms were of a man, and they couldn't understand it. So my uncle wound up nicknaming me Mr. Jules. Until this day, this man has called me Mr. Jules my whole entire life. The whole family, that's what they call me, Mr. Jules. So, you talk about growing up and you have that kind of respect where you have Mr. in front of your name since a baby. I think that's pretty cool. And then there's a picture of me. Hopefully it can be found somewhere. I have no baby pictures of myself. I just remember my mom having it in the house. But the baby picture of me, I think I'm like 3 or 6 months old. And I was a pretty big boy. And the little photo shoot, professional photo shoot, had me looking like I was on the news. Like, it was like a newscasting, background, whatever. And have, how they prop you up, whatever. And then my mom had this shirt on me, and it says, I'm very special. Thank goodness I came out to be the father and not some lunatic, So, that's pretty cool. You go back in history and you see that photo. It's just like, man, it was right. Man, it's been there the whole time. All right. He was waiting for God to appear in the sky, and God appeared in the room and being slapped on his butt by the doctor. Oh yeah, my mom knew. When you read the books, there's no doubt. My parents have always known. When I talk about the incident in the Book of Ion, when I chopped my foot off at 5, and when my mother rushed me to the Army base, and if you have any family members that served, or if you have served, it doesn't matter if a person is bleeding out. It doesn't matter if it's a child, if it's a woman. They don't care. If you don't have authorization to be on the base, you cannot get on that base. They don't care. Pretty much Homeland Security, right? And they let my mother go through. Granted, they saw my foot. They saw me bleeding out. But I mean, rules are rules. And I've asked many people about that have served or are currently serving, and asking them what are the rules to it, and what if this was to occur. And I'm like, no, don't care. You just can't. You got to get to the nearest hospital, and there was any nearest hospital. It would be a 20-minute drive, and I was bleeding out. And so we get there, and we're on the Army base, and they're soldiers, they're armed, and they gave me probably some, I can't say it on here, but they give you to for the pain. I was 5. And then the next thing you know, I wake up because I was in a wheelchair. I was sitting there just trying to get a doctor, because it was a hospital on the base, for the servicemen and women. And next thing you know, I wake up in the middle of surgery. They're attaching my foot back on me. Got at the end, I wound up having 134 or 136 stitches to attach my foot back. But in the middle of them in surgery, putting my foot back on, I woke up in the middle of surgery. And when I did, there were soldiers surrounding. They were all surrounding me, fully loaded, equipped. And my parents were there, and they were shouting, "He's awake, he's awake, put him back to sleep," because it scared everyone. And because you think about it, God as a 5-year-old. See, these are the stories people are missing out on. Jesus, what is it? The lost 18 years? You know nothing about him. So, I remember seeing everyone in the room, and my dad is holding me down. There's a couple of nurses holding me down. There was a soldier standing towards my left in a corner, holding his gun. And I looked around the room, and I was trying to understand, why are there soldiers in here all holding guns? Well, you have God getting surgery, and he wakes up in the middle of surgery, and he's in pain. You never know what's bound to happen with God's power. And especially at 5 years old, he doesn't even know who he is. He doesn't know the power that he possesses in him. So, that was crazy. But I do remember, and my son, my wife, my son, we all make jokes behind it, how crazy I am, because my foot had got sliced off in the bike, the chain. My friend was riding, I was riding on the back seat. He let go of the bike with his hands. This was old school. This is 1984. And, the long banana seats. And so it was my bicycle, and my friend wanted to ride it. And I love motorcycles because I used to ride on the back of my Uncle Curtis's motorcycle. And so, you always stick your feet towards the back. So I was pretending like I was on my uncle's motorcycle. And my friend let go with his hands, and we fell on the ground. And when we fell, as we were falling, my foot got caught in the chain, and then whap, So the neighbors, everyone is helping me get in my mother's car. They put me in the front seat. Back then there was no car seats. Yeah, right. You better put the seatbelt on. And they got all these towels, and I was bleeding out. I was literally holding my foot in my hand, bleeding out, had blood all over the windshield, all over the car. And I looked at my mom, and my mom is in panic mode. And I looked at my mom and asked her, will I be able to go to football practice tomorrow? Because football just started. Practice was the following day. And my mom looked at me and said, "Son, you have no foot." And I was like, oh. Yeah, I didn't care. I just wanted to play football. So it shows you how crazy I can be. 5 years old, I'm holding my foot in my hand. I'm asking if I could go to football practice the next day. Yeah. So, but yeah, I was in a cast for, man, I had to learn how to walk. Well, it took me almost, 2 years to learn how to walk again. You know, imagine that. Imagine your child is 5 years old. You know, it's a very powerful story. Very powerful story. I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember everything I had to go through. I remember the fun times. I don't know if I put this in a book of Ion, but I'll share this with you guys. I told my wife, she makes jokes about it all the time. But my sister and brother, they were, because my mom was previously married, so you know, we had different dads. But she was married, you know, previously, and my siblings are way older than me. You know, I'm the baby in the family, and they were living with their dad in North Carolina, and so it's just me and my mom, and I'm not sleeping in my bed, you know, because my mom wants to make sure everything is convenient, so she set up like a big pillow you know, area for me, all these pillows everywhere, and I can just be comfortable. And, you know, cable had just came out, so of course we had those huge remotes. And my mom didn't care, you know, she was just like, hey, because it was summertime, she was just like, you know, she felt bad for me. She was pretty much letting me stay up all night until I just fell asleep because she knew I was in so much pain. And I'll never forget this, guys. I was crazy as a kid. I'll never forget this. So who all remembers, you got to be in our age bracket. You got to be either in your late 30s, probably, I don't know, maybe over 38, because I'm 46. So who remembers, before I even get into this, who remembers what Channel 99 was on cable when cable first came out? Who remembers what Channel 99 was? Because it was Channel 99 in every state. Anyone in our age bracket that knows? Nope, not HBO. Channel 99 was in every state. Channel 99. Come on, guys. I know I wasn't the only one trying to watch it. Come on. No, not MTV. Something that you should not be watching as a kid. Channel 99, I'll tell you guys. There you go, Marianne. It was Playboy TV. Yes, corn. It's okay. It's okay. So yeah, it was Playboy, and I was 5 years old, and hey, I'm there all day. I can't walk. I have nothing to do. It's the summertime. All I can do is just lay down and watch TV and eat snacks. And so it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I turned it to 99, right? Because at that time it was completely free, right? Because you pay for cable. I mean, yeah, it came with it. It means that, you know, your family had a little money. And so I'm watching the beginning of a scene come on. You know, they playing the music. Boom, 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 boom. I'll never forget it. It was this little white woman with this white guy, and they were standing outside of the house by a truck, and he was talking to her. And then he brings her in. And next thing you know, he started giving her a BJ. Well, she started giving him a BJ. And my mother, as I'm watching this, because the volume is not loud, my mom just hears music playing. She's thinking it's like cartoons or something, you know. And she's in the kitchen like 3 o'clock in the morning. It's just like, you're still up? I was like, yeah. She felt so bad for me. She was like, you want some ice cream? I was like, yeah, I'll take some ice cream. She's like, you want strawberry or chocolate? I'll take strawberry. She's like, okay, man, let mommy get you strawberry ice cream. So she's getting me strawberry ice cream. She puts it in a bowl. She walks over there. And my mom, oh my gosh, my mom nurtured me so much as a little boy. And she gave me my bowl of ice cream. And she was like, here you go, son. She was like, oh, I hate that you got to go through this. I'm like, it's okay. She's like, what you watching? I'm watching this. And she's like, Jules, what the hell are you watching? Oh man, she had to unplug the TV. She had to take the cable box and bring it to the other room. I had to go back to watching basic cable, not basic cable, basic television. Yeah, you got to turn the knobs with the pliers. Try to stick some aluminum foil in the back as your antennas. Yeah, I was a wild little boy. I did some wild stuff as a kid. I did some stuff that is not in the Book of Ion. Yeah, you want to hear another funny story, guys? How wild I was as a kid? Here's another funny one. I was a little pervert. Oh my gosh, I was a little pervert. And then guys wanted to really get it from. So when I was 6.5, 7 years old, because my brother and sister, my brother is 6 years older than me. My sister is 8 years older than me. And so, see, I'm gonna give you the truth and nothing but the truth. I don't hide. I tell you what I went through, right? So you don't have to feel bad about what you did as a kid or a teenager, even as an adult. My brother was that guy that the girls were getting with, right? And so I would hear him doing it, right, at such a young age. And I saw the girls and, just my mom, right? Raising 3 kids by herself. So my mom was working 3 jobs. She's always busy working. And my brother is, he's wild. And it has all these girls coming through and his buddies, and they're banging them out. So what do you think is going on in my mind, right? Oh my gosh. I remember I had a Superman robe. Superman out of everything. I had a Superman robe, and one of our neighbors was a teenager, and she used to say, Jules, you're so cute. When you get older, make sure you have my number, right? She used to always tell me that. And so one day, she was outside, and I ran up to her in my Superman robe, and I was completely naked, and I started shaking in front of her. Hey, do you want me now? Oh, man. I was wild. And then I'll tell you another one. This is the last one. And then this one was pretty wild. So I had a best friend. Her name was Sweetie. So her brother was the same age as my brother, and they were best friends. So me and Sweetie became best friends. And we're probably the same time, about 6.5 years old, 7 years old. Because this is when I can actually walk now, right? So I'm enjoying being outside. And so me and Sweetie were playing house. You remember that game, I'm the hubby, you're the wife. Or we play, what was the other game? Play the nurse, play the patient. I was always being the patient. And so in our driveway, the kitchen, right, the sink, the window would be right there by the driveway. And so we were playing that game one day, and we decided to play that, husband and wife game. And so I had seen my brother do it so many times and his friends do it so many times. I was just like, okay, I'll try it. And so she dropped her little, and I dropped my, and I get on top and I go to, and my mom is right. We did it right there by the window. And I didn't go in or anything. I was trying to. I didn't know what I was doing. I was about 6, 7 years old. And my mom catches us, and she takes the water hose from the sink, and she sprays the window, the window screen, and she's spraying my ass. Oh man, my mom beat the hell out of me. Oh, she beat the hell out of me. She's like, where did you learn that from? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was wild. I was wild. I had older siblings, and then I lived in a very diverse neighborhood, and so I was that little kid. I didn't want to hang around kids my age. I was always hanging around the older kids. So, I mean, this is the early 80s. I'm talking about drug dealers, the gangsters. I had looked up to them as a kid, and those guys loved me. I was like their little brother. And, when you're around that kind of stuff, of course you try to be that. So, yeah, man, I put my mother through hell and back as a kid, from a little kid to my adulthood. I put her through hell. I think all the way up to 23. Yeah, 23. And then after that, I changed my life around. So, yeah. So when people come on social media and they don't know who I am, they never experienced me, and they hear that I'm God, and then they hear me talk about these kind of stories, to them it's like, how can you be God and you were doing that stuff because you've been fed a false teaching? God lived a normal life. God came from the hood. God was raised in a horrible environment. Not all my life, half of my life as a kid. But no matter the horrible things that I saw, with murders happening in front of me as a kid, getting their blood on me, no matter all the bad stuff that I witnessed and all the bad stuff that happened to me as a kid, from, losing my foot, having to attach my foot back on, learning how to walk. And if you guys read the book of Vion, that's a pretty powerful story on how I learned how to walk. That's pretty powerful. And people wonder why I stand my ground. Literally. That story right there is what made me. And then I was molested as a kid by multiple people, right? I had a lot of horrible things that happened to me. And no matter what I went through in life, from a kid to a grown man looking at spending 25 to life in prison because of the choices I made, no matter all the things I went through, I still managed to become who I've always been, which is God. So if I can do it, anyone can walk into their existence. There shouldn't be any excuses. I went from just, I didn't even see it in Gematria, the boy who became king, which they know I don't like that terminology, king, because they know what that means. But really what it's saying, the boy who became God. Can you imagine the Book of Vion as a movie? Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm so excited, Marianne. She's starting to read the book. But that's what people need to see. People need to see because I know a lot of people don't like to read books, but people need to see my true story. Yep, you have to live it up to your purpose. I've been through hell and back, and a person can't say they can't serve their purpose or they can't walk into their existence as hard. I'm not even trying to hear that. I've made horrible choices, and I've had bad things happen to me, and I've been put in bad situations. Some of my own doing, some from other people's doing. And I still managed to come out on top. I mean, how do you go from being just a little boy growing up in the hood in New Orleans to becoming the creator of all? It's kind of like it's impossible for me to have a bad day at this point, because that's all I have to think about. All I have to think about is where I came from, who I used to be, and who I am now. The little boy who became God. That's a hell of a story. The only greater story than that is the greatest love story ever told about the mother and father. Those two stories in itself, man, when the world finally wakes up, oh my gosh, you know how much guilt, conviction they're going to have on themselves, how bad they're going to feel, like how they fell for such a stupid lie about Jesus. Oh man. So, well guys, I shared a lot with you guys today. I've clowned on Christians and Muslims today. Shared some personal stories with you today. It was story time. You saw the pup in the sky, in the clouds, the same pup. That's right here. So, you've seen a lot. You've heard a lot. If you haven't already, go watch the content I just dropped today. Like, comment, share, repost. All right? Download, share on other platforms. Okay? Especially the last one I just did based on Christianity. That one needs to go viral, but it won't. It won't. Oh, good. So I love you guys, my precious jewels, my angels. Enjoy your weekend. You probably won't hear from me until next week. So enjoy your weekend, whether yourself, with your family, with your mate, with your children. Enjoy your weekend. Eat some great food. And if you're a newcomer, go download the free books, chronarch.ai. You want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about God, the Mother, God, the Father, as here walking on earth in the flesh, heaven on earth. Go download those books. Watch the content on this page and other platforms. And you'll feel at peace. If not, you'll feel completely lost for the rest of your life. Because there's no way in the world you can say you're at peace. There's no way in the world you cannot be at peace with a lie. Your DNA won't even allow it. And you know that. Adios, amigos.